some parents or fathers, I should say, so many people are surprised that they're like, "You're a single father, you have your kids, you got custody of your kids," and I'm like, "Yeah," and it's like surprising to people. But the thing is that, you know, a lot of fathers, they don't fight for their kids like that. They don't follow through. It's like when they get into the court system and all of that stuff, it seems like it's too tedious or too trying or whatever it is, and they just, you know, they're just like, it's whatever, you know, they wash their hands of it and then go from there. I just couldn't do that.
Definitely. Now,
I do it.
now being a single father, because I want a lot of what we talk about for me, because, you know, my platform, Melanated Fathers of America, me having 5 kids myself, my platform is about history. It's about empowering our people. But the backdrop of all of it is making sure young dudes understand the importance of manhood, like understand the importance of being there. Like, we glorify a lot of bullshit in our community, and I'm not gonna knock hip hop and knock some of these cultural trends, but at the end of the day, we all got to be there for our kids. And we can look at racism and how we're treated in this system, but in my opinion, if a lot of us was just, because I know most of the men I know are good fathers, right? But I think when I go to my old neighborhood, when I go to different places to help kids and mentor kids, it's just, in my opinion, not enough of us putting that effort forward. And sometimes I know a dude who's a good dude, like he has a lot of good qualities he can impute on a kid, but for whatever reason, he going through stuff with his baby mama. Like you said, he don't want to deal with the system, so he kind of backs off. And I have to tell him, man, your influence can be helpful in that child's life, right? So talk to me about some of the difficulties. You mentioned the court system, which I myself have had to go through, and these big ass stacks of paper, which is kind of intimidating, you know what I mean? But the woman can call, and the woman can call and be like, I don't want, take them off child support right now. But for me to get off, I got to go through all these goddamn forms or whatever. So talk to me about, like, what are some of the other challenges you've had to face as being a single father?
Wow. The challenges of being a single father, a lot of people look at them as challenges. I don't like to pat myself or get credit for stuff that I'm supposed to be doing anyway. You know what I mean? So things that some people may look at as a challenge, it's like, it's stuff that you're supposed to be doing anyway. You're supposed to keep a roof over your kids' head. You're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, keep food in their mouth, clothes on their back. You're supposed to make sure that they're taken care of. You're supposed to make sure that they're, you know, that they're, you know, doing their schooling and getting this done and getting that done. You're supposed to make sure that they learn responsibility and all of that. Those are things that you're supposed to do. I can honestly say, when I had my first set of kids, because I have kids that are 26, 25, and 24, and then it goes to 16. I have 2 16-year-olds, a 13-year-old, and then a 10-year-old. So when I have my oldest kids, I can honestly say that I grew up with them. You know, I there was so many things as a father that I knew I wasn't ready for. You know, and one of my outlets was my dad. You know, was being able to call my dad and talk to my dad. That's how me and my dad end up being, you know what I'm saying, really good friends and just talking all of the time. You know, I know I used to do so much stuff, you know, when I was little, but I remember a time that I called my dad when I was like 17 years old, and I apologized to him just for everything, just on GP. You know, I apologized to him for everything and talked to him, and I realized that, you know, the discipline and all of the stuff that he used to do when we were little, you know what I'm saying, was to make me a better person later on in life. So, you know, growing up and growing up with my older kids and trying to learn on the fly, it was hard. I've been, you know, I've been homeless before. I've been, you know, but I've made sure that, you know, I've had, you know, I was able to get a roof over my kids' heads, you know, whether we had to stay in hotels or motels or whatever the case may be. We've been without vehicles, we've been this, but I've always made sure, you know, whatever I'm dealing with, they really, even though they were there, it's like they almost didn't feel the effect as much, because they still got that love. We still laugh and joke. I still try to keep upbeat on any situation, but there's nights that they're asleep. I'm making sure they're asleep, and then I'm sitting up here like just stressed out, like what am I gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? You got to do this, you got to do that, you gotta bust your ass. I had some good friends and some good family members that were in my life that I could, man, I I don't know where I'd be without them. But I always kept pushing. And I've always had this focus to make sure that my kids are good, and that's what kept me going. Making sure that they're good, even when I wanted to give up sometimes. I still just kept pushing through.
Interesting. It's so funny you say that, bro, because I think kids don't come with a handbook, like for none of us, right? And everything that we find ourselves going through with life, whether it be with a job or relationship with a woman, our personal traumas, I think sometimes parents of all colors do a horrible job of guarding their kids from their dysfunctions to a degree, or just from the things they're going through currently. So it was really